Picture this moment with me. It's October 1st. The clock rolls past midnight in Washington, D.C. There's no siren, no televised alert, no dramatic speech from the Capitol steps. Just silence. And in that silence, funding expires. The new fiscal year begins without a budget, without a stopgap, without legal authority to keep much of the federal government running. At 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, the United States government shuts down. This is how it always happens. Not with a bang, but with paperwork quietly failing to pass.
Please help us make 1,000 subscribers by the year end. Make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and leave comments down below so I can find out what content you'd like to see, and I will reply to everyone. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified as soon as the next video drops.
Behind that moment is a political stalemate that's been building for weeks. In the House, Republicans pushed a funding package that included deep spending cuts, rescinded foreign aid, and rolled back portions of federal health insurance subsidies. Democrats rejected those terms outright, insisting on protecting Social Security, healthcare programs, and existing safety nets. Negotiations collapsed not just between parties, but within them. Factions dug in. Deadlines came and went. Temporary funding expired. And when compromise failed, the law left no room for flexibility. Without appropriations, the government had no choice but to stop. The consequences were immediate. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers were told not to report to work. Estimates ranged from roughly $750,000 to more than 900,000 employees furloughed overnight. Another 700,000 or more were labeled essential and ordered to keep working without pay. On paper, the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act of 2019 promises back pay once funding is restored. In reality, uncertainty lingered. Statements from the administration cast doubt on how automatic or guaranteed that compensation would be. For families living paycheck to paycheck, that uncertainty was its own kind of crisis. As the shutdown settled in, the ripple effects spread fast. National defense continued, but under strain. Law enforcement stayed on duty. Air traffic control remained operational, but staffing shortages began to show. Border security pressed on with limited support. At the same time, discretionary programs froze. Research paused. Grant approvals stalled. Permits stopped moving. Flight delays mounted as support systems behind the scenes broke down. Health agencies scaled back surveillance and inspections. Food and environmental oversight slowed. Paperwork piled up, unseen but dangerous in its absence. The courts entered survival mode. The judiciary announced it could operate on reserve funds only through mid-October. After that, only constitutionally required functions, like criminal trials, would continue. Civil cases, hearings, and administrative proceedings faced suspension. State governments braced for impact as well. Many rely on federal reimbursements and grants to function. Some programs continued on leftover funds. Others simply waited, uncertain whether money would ever arrive. The economic damage wasn't abstract. Analysts warned the shutdown could shave between $7 and $15 billion off the economy every single week. Consumer spending dropped as furloughed workers cut back. Contractors laid off staff. Job growth slowed, then reversed. Critical economic data disappeared from public view. No jobs report, no inflation update, no consumer indicators. Investors, businesses, and even the Federal Reserve were left flying blind. Markets grew uneasy. International confidence in American governance weakened. The cost wasn't just financial, it was reputational, but the most painful effects were personal. Federal workers scrambled to cover rent, mortgages, utilities. Unemployment claims rose. Essential employees, TSA agents, public health workers, law enforcement support staff, showed up every day without knowing when they'd be paid again. Credit cards filled the gap. Savings disappeared. Some agencies quietly prepared reduction-in-force plans in case the shutdown stretched on. Programs serving vulnerable communities felt the squeeze first. Nutrition assistance, community health centers, and social services struggled to keep doors open. States tried to intervene, but their resources couldn't match federal scale. National parks and museums closed or operated with skeleton crews. Lawsuits loomed, trust eroded, and the longer it lasted, the deeper the damage cut. Temporary delays turned into permanent losses. Infrastructure projects stalled. Scientific research lost momentum. Workforce morale collapsed. The image of the United States as a stable, functional governing power took another hit on the global stage. Ending the shutdown required a simple thing and an almost impossible one. Congress had to pass funding. The president had to sign it. Until that happened, the deadlock held all the leverage. In the meantime, governing itself became collateral damage. Services paused. Lives were disrupted. Politics decided who bore the cost. At the heart of it all was political deadlock. A deadlock isn't chaos. It's worse. It's paralysis. It's what happens when power is evenly split and no one is willing to move. In the American system, it usually plays out between the House, the Senate, and the President, each with enough authority to block the others, but not enough to act alone. Everyone has a vision. No one agrees whose vision wins. Think of it like a tug of war where neither side lets go. The rope doesn't move. The strain builds. And eventually, something snaps. Not the rope, but the system around it. Bills stall. Appointments freeze. Budgets fail. And when budgets fail, the government runs out of money. Deadlocks form for many reasons. Sometimes it's ideology. Sometimes it's strategy. Sometimes it's pure political calculation. Who looks weak? Who blinks first? Who controls the narrative heading into the next election? In recent years, legislative gridlock has become the most common expression of that standoff. A bill passes one chamber and dies in the other. Nothing becomes law. And when funding is involved, the consequences spill far beyond Washington. The truth is, deadlock doesn't just freeze politicians, it freezes people's lives. Paychecks stop, programs stall, confidence collapses. Citizens begin to see their government not as divided but broken. And yet, deadlock is often used deliberately, a pressure tactic in a high-stakes game of chicken where millions of livelihoods sit in the middle of the road. We've seen this before. The longest shutdown in American history began on December 22, 2018, and dragged on for 35 days. It was driven by a standoff between Donald Trump and Congress over funding for a border wall. The president demanded billions. Democrats, newly controlling the House, refused. Neither side budged. Roughly 800,000 federal workers went unpaid. Airports faltered. Food inspections slowed. National parks closed. What began as a policy dispute became personal pain for millions. That shutdown wasn't an accident. It was a textbook deadlock. Two sides convinced they were morally right, unwilling to compromise, and confident the other would eventually give in. The government reopened only after public pressure became overwhelming, and even then, the underlying divisions remained. The years leading up to that moment were filled with warning signs. In 2013, a 16-day shutdown erupted over the Affordable Care Act during Barack Obama's presidency. In January 2018, a 3-day shutdown centered on immigration and DACA protections. Weeks later, a 9-hour lapse occurred over spending caps after a single senator delayed a vote. Each shutdown carried the same DNA: partisanship, rigidity, and an erosion of compromise. By 2018, deadlock wasn't an anomaly. It was a pattern. So can a president influence a deadlock? Absolutely. The president isn't just reacting to Congress. The president shapes the environment in which negotiation happens. Leadership style matters. Rhetoric matters. Strategy matters. A president who frames conflict as a zero-sum battle hardens opposition. One who signals flexibility creates room to move. History shows both approaches carry consequences. Some presidents leaned into compromise. Ronald Reagan famously said he'd take 80% of what he wanted and fight for the rest later. Bill Clinton navigated divided government through pragmatism and deal-making. Others embraced confrontation, betting that holding firm would force capitulation. Neither approach exists in a vacuum. Congress bears responsibility too. Party pressure, media cycles, and voter expectations all shape how flexible lawmakers can afford to be. Sometimes even a willing president finds no partners across the table. Other times, presidential insistence becomes the immovable object blocking resolution.
Please help us make 1,000 subscribers by the year end. Make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and leave comments down below so I can find out what content you'd like to see, and I will reply to everyone. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified as soon as the next video drops.
This isn't about assigning blame. Every president governs under intense pressure. Leadership styles differ. Donald Trump brought an assertive, business-driven approach to the office, valuing leverage, persistence, and high-stakes bargaining. Supporters saw strength in his refusal to back down, a commitment to delivering on promises. Critics saw confrontation that deepened divides. Both perspectives coexist, and both shape outcomes. The real question isn't who's right, it's what works. Because when compromise disappears, governance goes with it. And when governance fails, the price is never paid by politicians alone. It's paid by workers, families, communities, and a nation left waiting for someone, anyone, to finally let go of the rope.